All right, guys, we are back and we have some misclicks happening there as well. We are back. This time we have a sOaK every lane facing off against Reborn Knights Red. So, this is a Division A match. Be interesting to see how this changes. As you go up each division, you should theoretically see improvements on macro play, decision making, so forth and so on. All very important things to being a higher division team. So we'll jump into the draft as it's already started off. We're gonna see a Diablo and Cassia ban. This must be a targeted ban here, the Cassia. It has to be. Now, you can't be. I'm gonna see. We're gonna view profile here. Any Cassia play? That's the Cassia player. Yeah, that's the Cassia player right there. Um, wait, 10 games? 9 games? What? Well, 27? Oh, that must be the season. Or, yeah, that's the season. So, Cassia player has been target banned on a Reborn Knights. So, sOaK every lane has done their homework. And we're going to see the Raynor and Deckard bans. And Alexstrasza being the first pick here. So, they're going all in with trying to control the shrine with that dragon. And I mean, the dragon is obviously pretty thick and pretty big, so it could easily do the job of multiple other heroes. Now, ooh, we're gonna get a spicy pick with an Asmodin pick alongside Urel. We have yet to see Urel any of these games, either because she was banned out or not picked up. I'm really liking the fact that we're going to see Urel as she is fantastic, great sustain at CC, pretty much unbeatable in the solo lane unless you misplay her. And the Asmodin is going to be interesting because there's the additional pressure that can be created by using your trait of the D to get the demon lieutenant in a lane that is not being occupied by anyone on the enemy team. So next we're going to see the Garage and a Phoenix. These are definitely two solid picks. Toss someone back, lock them down, and have Phoenix blow them up. So we're going to see a Malthael ban here, which is an interesting choice. I'm assuming the Malthael ban is also in case Ardent Defender is down, and or they do not have something like an Ancestral, an Aegis, Divine Shield to prevent last strikes, or they did their homework as well on Reborn Knights and decided to take out Malthael. The Johanna will be taken out, which was a very good pick on sOaK every lane, as one of the things Asmodin lacks is the ability to clear the wave 100% on his own. If you have a Johanna there, you can amplify that damage stacking he does or will have, because you'll clear up the wave together with him and it'll be in the window that he needs in order to get it counting towards his stacks. So we're also going to see Murden and Rhaegar. Rhaegar is a little bit of an oddball in today's world, but I like him, especially on the shrine and with Stormcaller. A good thick body on that point, holding it down, is going to get some good value as he'll get the mana back from each hit. Additionally, it makes murking really, really easy. The Muradin is definitely your more traditional pick, or as Diablo has been taken out and obviously no Johanna. So you have to go with what the cards have been dealt to you, and Muradin is pretty much your next best choice. However, they do have a relatively squishy team on sOaK every lane. Thrall is going to be the choice here, which means they only have one real body. Thrall will be up against the Urel more than likely, but the Tychus is also very far forward as he has a fairly short range, which means that the dunks are going to hurt a lot because Alexstrasza makes dunking really easy. You basically let them start taking damage, you dunk, and then when they go and heal, you dunk them. So, of these two teams, I think they each have something going for them. The Asmodin is going to have Genji to help get him low. Genji will also have Asmodin to help get them low so he can reset off of them. On the other side, they also have the tremendous tanking power of your Rel and Muradin. They can essentially play musical chairs, have or tag team, and have your Rel go on in, pop the Ardent Defender, come back with the Muradin after his second win or third win, depending on choice of talents at level 1, will impact how they play, that tag team duo. On the other side, though, Garrosh really is all alone. If he tags out, well, Brawl is not really who you want to be tagging in as your tank. So it'll come down to if they can actually sustain through the fight. And if they can sustain through the fight, where that extra damage is going to be applied. If that extra damage is applied on squishies, then they'll actually get a kill. If it's only being applied to the front line, I think they're not actually going to get kills. All right, jumping on in, we got Tornado on the Tychus. We got DMN13. I'm guessing that's supposed to be DM13. We got Hammerhead on the Thrall, Philip K on the Garrosh, and we have Strogs on the Alexstrasza, and that's going to be sOaK every lane. On the other side, we got RK Dane Bow on the Muradin. We got Stamop on the Genji, Stock on the Rhaegar, Rise on the Asmodin, and finally Ninja on the Yrel, and that is going to be a Reborn Knights Red. So traditional footsie fight not going to happen because Arcane Ninja decides, well, not having it, going to go rotate up and call it a day, start soaking and get the additional pressure. We already have the Demon Lieutenant being used and already pushing on into the wall. So taking a look at the talents here, we have Echo the Elements chosen, we have the Arsenal Synergy, we have Warbreaker, and finally Circle of Life. On the other side, we have a Gluttony being chosen here. We have the Third Wind, Colossal Totem, Maraud's Insight, and Swift as the win. I like the Gluttony here, in part because that extra cooldown reduction will mean more onto Alexstrasza's circles of healing, which means Asmodin continues to counter Alexstrasza's healing output in general by dunking on him. Nice engage here, though. Philip K coming on in, preventing them from picking up this camp. So very good positioning on the side of sOaK every lane, going to dissuade them from continuing to push on in and take the camp. So the camp has been denied. They don't have great wave clear. That's the thing. A nice throw on back from Philip K, but Dane does have his leap ready to go. And with Third Wind, he's going to be a top down off rather quickly. So their wave clear is definitely lacking without a Johanna. They literally just have Asmodin to clear this 4-man, and Genji cannot use his Swift Strike to reliably clear, as this is 4-man rotation and would be his death, especially against a Garrosh. The top lane is easy city because it's your Rel. So Hammerhead basically needs to get his Echo the Elements done ASAP to really be able to reliably clear this wave and hold it significantly longer. In the meantime, we have a Tornado soaking it up in mid, a little bit more for XP on the side of Reborn Knights Red, but nothing serious. Philip K is all alone though. Alexstrasza coming on down Strokes, trying to keep him topped off. He will be fine, however, as the rest of the team is coming on down with him. So we're looking at now 36 stacks, 7 stacks, 9, 3, 9, 10, and 8. So we're getting a Shaman Camp from Hammerhead. He is going to be rather low, so this is going to be very awkward. Ninja is still pushing on in. He does not have a wave there to help start taking down the tower. He will in a second, but he will not be able to complete this. Arcane Ninja rotating over to the objective, taking a look, it looks like, to spot if anyone's rotating on them. And they're gonna have to call it a day. They'll finish this up, Strokes and Tornado, but this shrine has still been pretty much empty this entire time, as no one is really all that interested in it. Arcane Ninja Garage, this is a resident sleeper moment for you guys, as no one is going to kill Garage like this. But a toss on in, not going to connect with the Q, and they go on in Tornado. Arcane Ninja taking a ton of damage, and we see the space go sent back to her final resting place in space. So it'll be tapped on up now. This is really good from sOaK every lane. This is going to force them to rotate up and deal with the situation, and being a man down with the eVeRy means they can reasonably do as they please. However, they're not even trying to fight Reborn Knights. They're just letting them take, some skeletons, keep up in the race. It's 9-14 with a person down. eVeRy is now coming on in. We do have the damage coming on out to Dambo to toss him back, knock with the Q, and he will leap on out. However, the Swift Strike from stomAP will be good. Dam will be able to get out, however, and the Alexstrasza heal is on point. The dunk onto all of them. Now this is when he starts stacking up big time. Another nice E across. Dam getting low, Tornado getting low, and stomAP getting hit by the tower in the meantime. But Arcane Ninja is going to rock them like Rock'em Sock'em robots jumping on their heads. RK coming for the kill, and he will secure it coming across. I guess stomAP needs to be renamed to Ninja because he is playing the Ninja and making some Ninja plays there. So Shrine is actually going to go over now to the likes of Reborn Knights Red. They kept up, and sOaK every lane, unfortunately, they didn't abuse their advantage there. They didn't try to fight him early enough, and by the time they did, they couldn't win it. And like I said, the dunks from Asmodee will keep getting worse, and with the choice of Gluttony, once he gets that, it's going to be even harder because he's going to get double stack or double value in hitting enemy heroes, which means if he gets 3 people, that's going to be 1.5 second cooldown reduction, which means more and more of those will be raining on their heads. So Echo the Elements finally completed there. We have the dash almost completed. We do have the bigger they are. We have the Relentless Soldier, combat advantage, target acquired, the Manatide, Zastral Wrath, into the fray, Indomitable, and the full circle build. Fortunately for sOaK every lane and not rotating up in time, but there they go, the toss on in. Arcane Ninja being focused on down, does not have the Ardent Defender at this point, and overestimating how tanky she is. The Indomitable pop by Philip K. It will be a trade for 1-for-1, and they'll have to call that a day. So mid being pushed on in, the goats are there. stomAP pushing it in as best as it can, and with the front wall down, and they are very close to getting 10. That's a lot of wave pressure. In the top lane, we have a Rise actually dealing with this right now, and he is sitting at 100. So he's about, well, he's exactly halfway for quest completion, a quarter of the way for actually completing his stacking. So now that 10s are hit, this will be much easier, in part thanks to the Tide of Sin, allowing him to do significantly more damage with each of those dunks. And along the other side, we had the Thunderburn, the Give him the Axe. We have the Healing Totem and the Cleanse, the Gift of the Naru, alongside Righteous Momentum. This is a very odd build. You don't actually see this from most people, either of those talents. Gift of the Naru isn't actually a bad talent, but there's other talents more people will tend to go with. The throw on back onto Danebo, but he does have the leap, I believe. And there's the taunt onto the eVeRy. Not going to really matter. No focus there. And Ninja will be perfectly fine. The Indomitable pop, the Storm Bolt coming on out, and nothing will happen except a few heroics. Or sorry, a single heroic being used there. Top lane still being pushed in. A Rise trying to knock down this fort. And at this point, sOaK every lane is not going to let them take things for free, especially when they spot them. Taunt is not available for another 15 seconds. Dragon's going to be popped before the Shrine is actually active. And this is actually going to be a make or break moment for the Protector. X-Strike coming on out. Not going to deal much damage. The Purification Salvo. And there is Ardent Defender to fully heal, but the Ancestral Heal overlaps. This is not good. The EQ on the side. Rise coming on in with the big dunk, only going to hit one member. The toss on back onto Ninja, the taunt, and say goodbye to Urel once again. So Shrine should be in the hands of sOaK every lane. They will have to run across the top. They still have lanes to clear up, mid and top, so the death is actually not going to be that big of a deal. They do blow a huge heroic with Ardent Defender and with Ancestral, so at this point they have the upper hand, sOaK every lane, in terms of abilities they can use. Lifebender, they have Taunt coming up, Purification Salvo, and Odin is still available. On the other side, we have Avatar that'll be available soon, as is the X-Strike. And they're really taking a long time to get back up here. So sOaK every lane has been pressured so heavily in their early game that they're not able to do much with their advantage, and they're essentially resetting, if you will. At this point, though, Tornado is going to be in an awkward spot. He does start it up, but quickly dashes on out, waiting for the rest of his team to come on in. And we do have it actually completed the level 1 as well, which means that it'll be an extra regen glow for his team, keeping him topped up further and manned up further. Very good position by Dane, as he will be able to stop their rotation again onto the backline and or stomp on him. And it's the mob coming on in with the X-Strike with it as well. The taunt coming out a second too late. Purification Salvo, a ton of damage onto the front line, and the Ancestral will connect again. The Tides of Sin with the dunk isn't going to be enough to dissuade them from continuing to push forward, and they are super healthy. If they have taps, this is when they tap. If they don't have taps, they've essentially forfeited this shrine at this point. Philip looking for another toss on back. Arcane Ninja going on in for Tornado. It's not going to connect, and they need to just keep on working on getting the shrine. But the execution, and that is beautiful. They lose in terms of heroics and health pool, but they come on back in swinging. The stun onto Hammerhead. Hammerhead will be going down. Arcane Ninja really, really low, but he has the Ardent Defender popping it, baiting him to stay, and that is going to be a 5-man correction wipe.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
So we're going to see this all start off with the toss. The laser onto Garrosh doing a ton of value here. They lock him down, take him out, and with no one there, they just go and start dishing out the damage. The dragon is popped a second too late before, well, Garrosh died was really the time to do it. They focus on down the rest of the team, and they call it a day as they get themselves a massive amount of value. So as you can see, they're getting themselves right now the Bruiser camp, they're getting themselves the Merc camp's bottom, and then they're going to take the shrine because there's only one, and Asmodee can guarantee it pretty much with a single dunk. And at this point, they are ready to roll. Asmodee is actually going full back here. I think he should have just ran across the map to help his team rather than full backing here. So Reborn Knights Red about to hit 16. This is going to be a big moment. How it plays out going to determine if they survive here. If they get a kill, game's over. If they don't get a kill, game might continue on still. Good leap on over by Philip K. However, this is a Punisher that will root him, which can open up the opportunity to kill. The dunk coming on in, not really going to do much of anything onto Tornado, as a dunk. The alley-oop, though, might be enough to help him. Danebo popping that avatar, and they get the root onto the Odin. But Tornado will be popping on out. The Life Bender has been used immediately. Punisher is about to go down, but rooted in place and stunned and executed once again. Garage has been executed by the Alliance, and they're not liking the Horde very much these days. So 16 versus 14. This is a big window to do as they please. They can take every camp across the map. They can take more forts. They can pressure the top, or sorry, the mid or bot keep walls. So they're going to start off taking the Merc camp. Taking a look at the talents we missed, we had That's the Stuff, Auxiliary Shields, Frostwolf's Grace, Defensive Measures, and Pacify. Other side, we had the Brutish Vanguard, Total Annihilation. We also have Healing Static, Stone Forum, Earth Shield, and Hunger of the Wolf, which is going to be really nice against Garage since that bypasses his armor. We have the Repentance, and finally Templar's Verdict, and then the rest of the E build for Genji. So now they can go and take top camp. They can do as they please. Let's see the stacks there, 272, so we completed that. And now they have to defend every lane. They have bot lane to deal with. Mid has a big push, and the next Punisher is in the bot lane, which is where would be the most optimal to actually push with your wave. However, they do not have Garage here, which means they have nothing to really fear. To be fair, their front line can actually jump over the walls anyways, and it's not that scary. With the towers down, they can get a little bit more aggressive. Nice knockback from Ninja. The Unstoppable is a use, so cleansed on out pretty early there, and they'll have to just rotate down onto bot lane and get as much value there that they can before 16s are picked up by sOaK every lane. So Shaman Camp pushed in all the way, no damage to the core whatsoever, but they're nice and prepped for the next objective. They have everything pushed on in. They'll have to deal with the top lane. Asmodee can also D that to make it even more potent. That push and to get it onto the core much faster. He can D the mid wave, which is pushed all the way up as well to get some keep damage potentially. So I'd like to see sOaK every lane get into position and try and take an positional advantage in order to amplify the power of Garage's throw into taunt. If someone was face checking, which would be what is happening right now, they could go and 100% have killed Genji right there if they were all there and ready to go. They will start this off a little early, so they'll have a little bit of advantage. However, there's double catapults in the top lane. They have to deal with Shaman Camp coming with a third catapult, and they'll be at roughly 12 right now. Asmodee only helping there in terms of actually landing it. The slow onto the Garage, the knockback. He has been stunned. Indomitable not being used quite yet. There it goes. And they are now fighting their hearts out. The Asmodee dunk is on point. Odin being used. We got the Life Binder on Philip, and he will be as good to go as possible. Arcane Ninja and Tornado looking for the backline, but he's going to have to settle for Arcane Ninja. The Ancestral will connect on top of the Ardent Defender, and the stun is huge. And slicing and dicing coming on in from the rear. Stamop looking for the opportunity, and they've just been absolutely walloped, and that is going to be GG. I mean, this fight was pretty perfect for Reborn Knight's Red. They have Odin used against them, but Odin cannot get onto the backline. Asmodee's too far away. Stamop just basically comes across and cuts him, and then basically comes back when the opportunity arises. And Reborn Knights will take game number 1 in a very convincing fashion. So I gotta say, the extra damage didn't work for him at all. If we look at the total damage numbers, we're gonna have Phoenix topping things off, but Ninja is actually the top DPS, which is kind of crazy. Asmodin, I feel like, didn't get quite the value you would hope for because he also never completed his stacking, and they were also so far ahead at that point that it didn't really matter. I think if you had a different range damage dealer in AoE like Jaina, you might have actually been even easier the game. So you can see the damage numbers, and it's almost all even, which is kind of crazy because of how much sustained damage was coming out because they didn't have any strong burst and it was just all consistent poke, other than Tychus, really. But it didn't really work out the bigger they are for them. They didn't nuke down Urel enough, except for the few one-off cases, which is where Urel is literally all the deaths. So pre-10, they were able to kill her, but after that, they were very unsuccessful in getting any kills. And like I said, they only had Garrosh, which meant very easy front line to run past and then bully the rest of them. So we'll kick it over to the replay, so sit on tight for game number 2.